Hello and welcome again to another edition of The Scoop on Mason County Press. I'm Alan Neushwander. The Scoop is brought to you by West Shore Bank and Betten Baker Ford. Here today in downtown Ludington at a world-renowned restaurant that people come from all over the Midwest and all over the country and really all over the world to be at and to dine at. House of Flavors restaurant here in downtown Ludington. Joined with Barry Neal today. Barry,
good to see you, Alan? Good to see you too. Thank you.
Doing good. I think we're all just learning how to adapt in this COVID-19 world and how it's changed the way we do business, personally and professionally. And I think we can start off talking about that, Barry, with House of Flavors. How to go this summer with COVID-19. I think every time I drove by, down Ludington Avenue, the line was backed up around the building. You had the window out front. Did you see a lot of impacts with the pandemic this year with the business?
First, I want to say the Scoop is a great name, especially relative to this, right? So,
absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for thinking of us today. Summer and the lines, and adaptability has really been a key word for us. It continues to be a key word for us. Summer was not as bad as it could have been. So it was not as good as it could have been either. We were down about a third because you just can't do the volume when we're at half capacity. And so often the lines that people saw were because we didn't let any of the cone counter customers into the building. Mm-hmm. Where typically in the summer I'll have, 25 or 30 people that I'm able to wait on 7 or 8 at a time. And we could not do that. So the window worked. We're sorry if people got soft ice cream. That was one of the challenges, that with the window open, the air blowing in, right, melted all that ice cream in our first cabinet. So we had a real struggle this summer with ice cream being too soft. So lots of people would, get cones and have to get a cup also. So we moved our ice cream out of that cabinet and moved them down to try and adapt for that. So I think that's no longer a problem because it's cooler out, although really nice for November weather. So we were blessed this summer. We're glad it's over. Fall actually has been good. We continue to do everything we can to keep ourselves safe and our customers safe. A lot of new activities and tasks that we all have, and those continue to keep coming, and that's okay because adapt is the word, right?
Exactly.
I think in this whole year, if you didn't adapt, and pivot is another word that we use a lot, we would not be here this fall.
Mm-hmm. And when looking at some of the COVID protocols, as we go into the fall and winter season, and the locals are coming in for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or just for some ice cream, obviously you're taking safety to the highest standard, I'm guessing. So I'm sure there's different things that you're doing in the restaurant to ensure some of those safety protocols for the CDC and the health department. Yep,
we're all wearing masks. Our customers are wearing masks. We are sanitizing every menu, both ice cream and food, every time that it's touched. It's a health mandate that we wear gloves and hats and all those kinds of things anyway, so that is not new. But yeah, we're sanitizing our space. There's a lot of extra, work at keeping things especially clean and especially sanitized, which I think in the long run is going to be good for the restaurant industry. Not that we didn't always try and be clean, but it is really increased the awareness of the importance.
Sure.
And even before COVID, we have typical cold and flu season. So I think to have the hospitality industry step up in a bigger way to try and take responsibility for keeping guests and employees and team members healthy has been a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of bad has come out of COVID, but obviously things like that, there's been some good that's come out of it too.
There are a lot of things that we have done that have worked for us. And so I don't know that we'll go back. I would have told you at the end of summer that I didn't think I would ever let people in again. That I would put in 4 windows and rearrange that side of the building, but I don't think that's the answer.
Right.
And financially, the cost of trying to do that is also really prohibitive. And COVID hit at the end of winter, which is when small business, especially in tourism communities, is out of money. So, you pray your way through April and May to get back to positive cash flow. Most of us in Ludington in this industry make our money in 8 weeks in the summer, 11 if we're a little optimistic, right? I have likened us to being farmers. We work all winter and pray all winter for a good harvest, and then we work our tails off to get the best harvest that we can, and then we start that process all over again. So when it hit in March, we were already down on our knees, right?
Yep.
And then, to go into summer with that, and now we're back in winter again. So we're trying to do everything we can to support small business. I know Amazon is really easy, and I know it's easy to sit home and click things on your computer, but I would ask any of your viewers to pay particular attention to small businesses in any community, not just in Ludington, be it, Pentwater, Manistee, Shelby, Hart, because they need your support this winter. And it doesn't just have to be that you come in and dine, because I think that people who are higher risk should probably stay home and be particularly careful. But find a way to support them through gift certificates or gift cards or takeout. I know lots of retailers are meeting you curbside. So I think we as a community need to do everything we can, combining our efforts together to save what our towns look like right now.
Right. Yeah, that's really great advice, to be sure to shop local, dine local during the holiday season and during these winter months, especially in a tourist town, like you say. I mean,
even in this particular year, so normally we have somewhere between 80 and 100 employees in a given summer. This year we maxed out at about 55 because we didn't have that many employees, and as it turned out, we didn't need that many employees. But there are 36 families that this business supports, not counting customers being fed, but there are 36 households. So when you combine that with all the other retailers and restaurants in our communities and around them, there's a lot of lives that are impacted by the loss of business, not just traditions and convenience, but lives that, there are families where one person is laid off and my servers are the only income they have coming in, or cooks. I've got young people trying to put themselves through college. And so I think just once again, as a community, it's our job, I believe, in good times and in bad, to find ways to come together, to do what we can, of course safely, but to do what we can to make sure that our communities look in the spring like they do right now.
Absolutely.
I'll stop preaching.
No, that's all right. I mean, that's what makes a small town like this really special. I mean,
I'm particularly passionate about this. The loss of Rick Chapman that's a big knock in the shins, and Chuck Wagon will survive, but the loss of Rick as a businessman in our community is torturous. That Sportsman's and that group is for sale is sad. I mean, and I understand it. We had to close our Manistee restaurant.
Right.
The Tribe, who was our landlord, we did not own that building, has got big plans to do something there. But we closed earlier than we had to because we didn't have any money. We didn't have the ability to fix the things that needed to be fixed for us to run that business. So there, 27 families were impacted. Those households were greatly impacted.
Sure. Still on the topic of COVID, one of the requirements of the governor's newest order is when you do go out to eat, you're supposed to check in. You give your name and some contact information in case there is an outbreak, so they know how to contact you. And House of Flavors has turned that into a kind of a fun contest. So not only are we just checking in for COVID reasons, but have a chance to win some neat prizes.
Yeah, we're giving a prize away every day. It's on our social media, so on Facebook and on our Instagram page. And yeah, if we have tried from the very beginning to at least find the positive in this and make this fun. Right down to when we first started, we did car hop service like they would have done in the 50s at the old A&Ws. But, as it relates to the contest, as you come in, if you're willing to share your name and phone number per the governor's request, we keep those all together, and then we pull one winner at the end of every day. And then we also pull a prize. So the prizes range from T-shirts to sundaes to single scoop ice cream cones, $5 off certificates. So once again, just trying to find some fun in all this chaos.
Yep, really good. Looking at the fall season, Barry, is there special hours or anything else that you've got going on that's...
Thank you. Yeah. For fall and winter, we are open in Ludington 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Thursday. We are open Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. We open on Sunday from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. We close Sunday afternoons. It gives our team members time to be with their families. Typically, that's a little slower. And, we're once again doing everything we can to pay attention to all the details of running a business in the off season.
Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about the history of House of Flavors. How long has this been here in downtown Ludington?
My grandpa came in the 40s, so 47, 48 is, I believe, when we actually say that it became part of our family business. My dad is still alive and well, although he's in Florida right now. We've been here a long time, 71, 72 years. Super grateful and blessed to have the relationships that we do with the customers that continue to come here. You have actually a great story that I tell a lot, and it's actually it's in our display cases. The picture of your grandpa and. House Flavors has a lot of meaning to me and my family. We're tourists from the Chicagoland area and have been coming up to Ludington since the 1950s. And House of Flavors obviously was always a special place for us to come visit, like it is for a lot of tourists. And so when my uncle had passed away, he lived in Wisconsin. He loved House of Flavors, loved the ice cream, come get the pig's dinner all the time. And when he had passed away, he was kind of a jokester. He actually had his House of Flavors pig dinner button on his lapel as he was in his casket. So yeah, I love that story.
Yeah. So House of Flavors really has a lot of meaning to me and my family, and like I said, like it does for so many. It's actually fun to look at the board out front where you put the little pin to see where you're from.
Yep. And
I can only imagine what are some of the farthest locations that you see people come from?
Oh, they're coming from all over the world, and the smaller the world becomes, and the easier it is to travel. Pre-COVID, we'll see what that looks like post-COVID. They come from everywhere, and they come for multiple generations. And I think that really it is about the time that your uncle spent with your family that made this memorable. It may not have been food and ice cream as much as it was, this is a place that we go together, we share a meal, we share a really good time. Those stick in people's memories. So we are really grateful to be that for families that come here generations after generations.
Yep, absolutely. And through all those generations, Barry, what's the most popular ice cream that you serve?
We sell more vanilla than any other flavor because it is the base flavor that we use for shakes and sundaes and malts and those kinds of things. Yep. Outside of that, they're like Michigan Pothole is a very popular flavor. Tennessee Toffee, Amaretto Cherry, certainly Blue Moon, which, I think if I were going to talk about what was sort of historic to us, Blue Moon was that. I remember as a child going down in the basement of the manufacturing plant at that point, and it was scary. There were big boilers down there, so you had to walk by, sort of a long wall of hot, and you could see flames that, heated up that boiler. So I was always very frightened to go down there. And then to go back in the flavor room with all these bottles of different flavorings, and I felt like Blue Moon was hidden a bit. So it's always had this mystique, not only because people wonder, what is it? But for us, it was also, one of the things that separated us from other dairies, Blue Moon, I don't know that we can say it was original to us. Sherman's Dairy, I think, claims that. We can say that Blue Moon started in the Midwestern United States. So somewhere in one of these farming states and communities, all these dairies work together to figure that out.
Yep. All right, Barry, well, thank you for joining us today on The Scoop. Been a pleasure talking with you. And thank you for everything that you and your family do for the community. I know House of Flavors is also a really good corporate citizen and gives back a lot, and that's much appreciated as well. So,
Alan, once again, it goes back to my grandpa and then my dad and mom and Cindy and I and Mike and Madison, the fourth generation, fifth generation. My grandson Everett was just born. We believe community is people working together to do whatever it takes to get good accomplished. So sort of will continue to be our mission. We're really grateful for this opportunity. Thank you, everybody. Have a safe and well winter.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good. All right. Barry Neal from House of Flavors. Again, dine local, shop local this holiday season, support our local businesses. I'm Alan Neushwander for The Scoop. The Scoop, again, brought to you by West Shore Bank and Betten Baker Ford.